Super BS.
What is up? We are here and ready for another action-packed episode of the Super BS Gamescast, the only podcast
on the internet.
That's right, and I'm the despised one, Sir Jank, as I was knighted on my recent trip to London, and
in the modern London, the Queen rose from the dead and knighted you, the despised one. All shall fear.
All shall fear me. I'm also joined here by a little baby boy.
Lovable baby boy Brank. Don't get it wrong. Lovable baby boy Brank.
Who is this?
This is baby boy Brank back from the dead, ready to break some bread. I am here, and I'm super angry. Before we even get to gaming stuff, I just want you to know I'm going to lose thousands of dollars because Xbox is shutting down the Avatar editor. Did you just see this? I forgot they had this thing. It's so funny because in the 360 era, I actually bought a costume for my, I forgot what they were called, but my Avatar character, because I just, you'd see them when you were playing games. But since maybe it was Xbox One, one of them didn't have it going into the cycle, right? So, I just forgot that it existed. And then, yeah, I guess they're shutting it down. I wouldn't be surprised if no one ever used it. Did you ever make one with the fancy new avatar?
Yeah, I made one avatar. I just made one throughout my entire Xbox career. I just did one.
No. These are different. This is the new one they introduced right before COVID, 2018. Did you make one of these?
Oh no, I didn't know they had changed any of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that's the funny part. Is I don't know anyone who actually made one. These are the new fancy avatars they made. So they had the original ones that we all played for the Xbox Live Arcade, right? Where you made your little character and it would be on your Xbox Live and you'd see it when you're playing 360 and stuff. And then they came up with it way later at the end of the Xbox One's life cycle again with a fancier avatar, but I don't know anyone who used it. So it's such a strange thing to even make, and then I guess they're shutting it down already.
Well, I mean, they're probably shutting it down because people weren't using it.
Yeah, well, I'm out probably $300,000 at least, I would guess. So
you shouldn't have blown all those Microsoft reward points.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sue Microsoft for all they're worth so I can get my avatars back, man. I'm
you should just sue
excited.
Nintendo instead. I mean,
have you been a Gladiator boy, or you been watching your Wicked recently?
No. I'm gonna see Gladiator. I think this week at some point. Did you go see it?
Nice, I did. It's good, man. I was entertained. Okay,
you give it a thumbs up.
I did a real and everybody in the theater screamed, man. They cheered. I'll say this. I don't want to spoil anything because it's brand new, and I don't want to I don't want to change the way people might feel. But go into it knowing that it's a sequel for a movie that did not need a sequel, released 24 years after the original. And I think you'll be impressed, right? Because every other time we've seen these, they've been so bad. I'm looking at you, Dumb and Dumber sequel and Anchorman 2, that it's this one not being a trash fire is about all I needed,
Yeah, so IGN gave it an 8, and then there are a bunch of other websites that ranked it pretty high. So I mean, I figured it'd be pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, and we have not had a good
war epic film, historical epic,
sword and sandals movie in a really long time. So
I mean, even Napoleon, Ridley Scott's last movie that came out last year, was nowhere near as good as Gladiator 2, and it didn't have the budget. And we went and saw that, and I was so excited. I actually was more excited for that than Gladiator 2. Of course, at that time, I don't even think they had Gladiator 2 trailers, but I was super pumped. And then I saw it, and it was really boring. And there was only 2 battles in the whole movie, and it's because I found out once we went, it was an Apple movie, kind of like the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, where they kill all the Indian people in that town. I forgot what Blood Moon
okay. I thought you were talking about was it the Remnant when he's
No, it's not the Revenant. It's like that. It's his most recent film, I think. I don't think he's been in anything else. It's something with the Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And that was good, but that's like another, I want to say, Martin Scorsese film, and like the last one he made for Netflix, it was 3.5 hours long. It was way too long. So but anyways, this was better than those two films, but just don't go in expecting to be blown away, and I think you'll actually enjoy it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be as good as the first one was, but I'm hopeful that it'll at least like recapture that magic, when you're sitting there watching it go down.
I mean, I think if you're going with the intent of just like watching a fun theater film that's not Marvel, I think you're going to like it, right? Like they just don't make big budget films that aren't Marvel movies anymore. Yeah. So the fact that this is one and it's not even the worst film ever is, man, I'm already like all about it. I mean, the only non-Marvel film I can think of that I was excited for was Dune from last year. Right? Like or was Dune this year? Dune was this year, wasn't it?
No, Dune.
Dune 2 was this year. Dune, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what's funny is that
Dune
did not cross $1 billion. Like I was expecting that to do. No, hold on. The last one that came out, everyone was expecting it to be like one of the top grossing films of this year, but it did not even breach. Let's see, where's
714 million. So it seems like it's probably a little bit under a Wolverine and Deadpool, right? Because I think that one's probably in the billion area.
Wolverine and Deadpool made 1.3 billion.
Okay, so it made half. It made 700 million, which I mean, considering it was like it was cost 200 million to make. They made their money back and then some, and it's a great movie. I loved it. I think it's great. I mean, I think Dune 1 is incredible. Dune 1 almost made $400 million during like COVID, pretty much. Like 2021 is when they released in theaters. That's crazy to me. Dune 2 was definitely like worth going to theaters to see. Like I love that movie. I think it's great. It is a weird one that I haven't wanted to rewatch. Like it is strange. Like I haven't ever thought about rewatching Dune Part 2.
No, and another thing too, like that the Dune prequel show is out, I think.
Yeah,
and
I haven't watched.
I have no desire to watch it at all.
Yeah, it's really strange, really telling, I guess, because like I love the Dune movies, and it's like I saw that show, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. So but you know what I feel like? I feel like it's the same as the Alien movies. They made that show called Raised by Wolves, and it looked so cool. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. I'm so excited. It's gonna be cool. I never turned it on. I haven't watched it. Stop making TV shows of your movies. Nobody needs them. I've heard The Penguin's great. I don't need it. I'm not gonna watch it. Stop doing it, and I don't want to have to watch Penguin to watch Batman 2 or whatever it's called. Stop asking us to watch 10 hours of TV to go watch a second movie. It's so crazy nowadays, man. But
they have one more thing. They have Alien Earth is coming out too. Did you see the trailer for that? When you turn if you turn on Deadpool versus Wolverine on Disney Plus, they show like a sizzle reel, and on it is Alien Earth. It's the prequel. So they did. It's supposed to allegedly it takes place after in between Prometheus and Alien and the first Alien movie.
I just dude, I'm so tired of it. Even if it's like the coolest looking thing, I just know I'm not gonna watch it. I'm tired of them doing this. I don't know what their need for there to be a TV version of movies is. Like I'm still a little bit confused. Just like I don't understand why there's a need to have like a movie version of TV shows. Like, I don't understand that too, right? Like, every movie doesn't need to have a TV show, and every TV doesn't need to be turned into a movie. We've seen historically, they rarely work. They almost never work. The only movie I can remember that I loved as a TV show and a movie was the Beverly Hillbillies as a kid. Like, I loved that movie a ton. It was great. Before we get into games, did you watch Wicked?
No, I have not seen. I haven't seen Wicked either. Yeah, man, I haven't been in the movies since. Actually, I did. I had to chaperone a field trip to go see the best Christmas pageant ever 2 weeks ago.
How was it?
It wasn't bad. There's all this this new wave of religious films coming out.
Living in a world where we will never know about how the best Christmas pageant ever was.
Oh, I'm back. I'm back. The internet couldn't hold me down.
He's on mute. I could see he's talking. He's going to be coming back soon.
And I'm here.
There we go. Okay, so you saw a movie that shall not be named. That's why we cut you off air, because we could not even talk about it. It was that X-rated. You chaperone. You had to chaperone children to go to an X-rated film called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It's sick that you took them there, man. That is not a movie for children. The fact that you had to use your adult privilege to get those kids in there, it's called adult privileging, okay? And I don't like to hear about it. No, I haven't seen. Was The Best Christmas Pageant good? I'm assuming if you said anything, I'm gonna have to cut out whatever you said.
Oh no, you're good. It was good. I mean, it was. There's this new wave of like religious movies coming out, and like they did a good job of like not like shoving it down your throat, but like making it organic to the story. So it was. It's
good. A Christian movie?
Yeah. It's made. It was made by the guy that made The Chosen. Have you seen that show? With it's like the retelling of Jesus's life.
No, it's Jesus 2 is what they decided to do, The Chosen. Exactly. They decided to do a sequel. Somebody's like, hey, I read the Bible. I can write it better. Like all writers in Hollywood, someone's like, hey, I read this source material. I'm going to write a sequel and make it better. I'm going to make it, what's the word that Rian Johnson? Subversive. I'm going to subvert everybody's expectations of the Bible in a sequel.
Can you imagine going into Barnes & Noble and seeing a book set called The Bible 2?
I'm sure someone's maybe they haven't attempted it, right? Because I mean, there is like a level of like I don't know, materialism, worldliness that I feel like we've crossed in America, where it wouldn't surprise me if you went to a book and somebody was trying to sell you the Bible too. But I also feel like people hate the Bible so much, most people, like that they wouldn't buy it just because of the name, unless they knew it was like a set satirical or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, what would actually be really funny and wrong and sad would be if like some Christian publication decided to make the Bible too, right? Like one of those mega churches where the pastors like do act a little bit like God, and they decide like, hey, we're gonna make the Bible too, written by us because we're the modern day apostles of Christ, you know? And you're like, oh my God. But okay, so anyways, gaming. We need to get to that. People are sick of hearing about movies.
Oh man, we don't want to hear about this anymore. Let me ask you something though. You've given me a little bit of thoughts off air on your time with Visions of Mana. So go ahead and tell me how you feeling about it so far.
Oh yeah, I'm still digging it. Like I talked about last week, there's a lot of fun in the simplicity of it, but I will say it is hard to be motivated to continue to play it. I'm about 10 hours in. I don't feel like I've made much progress yet. Like I feel like there's a lot more left to go, and I think the doctor was telling us that it was like 40 hours at least.
Yeah.
And the one thing I am a little bit concerned is I'm worried the game is too simple for its own good. Like it doesn't have a 40-hour gameplay cycle, right? Like I think if it was like 12 to 15 hours, I think it would probably be perfect. I love a lot of the exploration, but the fact that like you're not leveling up classes, you are like adding abilities, but that's totally separate from the class. You could not play as a class. As long as you just activate the class one time, you can get their abilities, right? Like you don't have to play as them. And there's something cool for like using your abilities from one class to the other. And, you know, you only get your passives if you play as the class. But I do miss the Final Fantasy Tactics, the Final Fantasy whatever, where you level up the jobs, right? Where there's two leveling up mechanics. There's the level up, the standard character, and the job. And with like Metaphor and all the rest of JRPGs giving you that, it's really hard to be very excited to be like, you know, it's a beautiful game, but the combat's not deep. Right? It's fun. Like I'm digging it, but it's not deep. It can be slow if you're playing as one of the other classes. You can't do a lot of the moves because there's not like a lot of moves to do, right? Like you just have a few spells. So there's some issues I see, like, but overall, is it way better than it probably had any right to be? Yeah, it's easily the best Mana game, probably since Secret of Mana. I mean, I'm a Legend of Mana fan, but Secret of Mana it's probably the best one since that. So but you know, I have issues with it. What do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's an incredibly simple game. You were talking about the exploration, like a lot of exploration. The maps are so stinking big, and there's nothing in them. And I think that this is what we kind of talked about with Final Fantasy. What was it, 16? That was the last one that came out. Yeah, to have these big open worlds and not a lot to do in them except go and like clear, you know. Make sure your map is complete by exploring them.
And Final Fantasy 16 was not even that open too, but it was just like a very it was very simple. Like, right? Like you had your path, you go on. They had some open maps where they were very boring. There was nothing in them. A lot of games have that issue. I mean, Stellar Blade that came out this year they have one map that's incredibly open. It was probably the worst map in the game in terms of like, there just wasn't a lot to do. It wasn't a lot of fun. Yeah. Visions of Mana, I definitely think, they tried to give you reason with like the Dud Bear honey. They have like a currency, if you will, that you can collect, that you can trade in. But I will say most of the rewards you can trade in for are really basic and boring. So like outside of the stat growth items, you only need to probably get 50-70% of them, and then you'll have more than enough for all the actual items you want. So I think there's stuff they are trying, and I think there's a lot of good ideas. I just feel like they didn't take any lessons from every other game that has classes. Like it is hard for me to understand, like we have tons and tons and tons of history of games with classes and RPG leveling systems and, ways to make it exciting and hooks to put you on. And they're just like, nah, we're just going to have this thing. You level up separately. You could be the class if you want, but there's no real reason to be it outside of the stats and the passives that you get as the class. But we're also going to force you to use the weapon of the class if you choose it. So if you don't want to play slow, well, you shouldn't choose that. You know what I mean? Like, there's stuff like that. So where I'm at, where I only have 2 classes, I'm choosing no class for the main, right? Like I've unlocked everything and I just don't do anything. But anyways.
Yeah, I think I have like Van. I think I have the water one, but the class system's weird. But also, there's not a lot of different. There's not a lot. What am I trying to say? Like motivation for having different characters in your party. Also, like you can.
Oh,
switch.
I haven't even got the third. I'm still with 3 people. Do you get the 4th person pretty soon or no?
Yeah, you get the 4th person after you cross the sea. There's like 2 towns you have to go to, and then you get the 4th person. But like there's not a lot of variation between like attack types there, so you're just kind of they're all just there kind of doing the same thing. And I wish that I could set some sort of skill on these characters to like automatically heal or do whatever when your characters are in need of something like that, but they don't offer that kind of mechanic.
Yeah, I actually don't know why they decided to. So there's 5 playable characters. I just Googled it because I was just curious. When you have that small of a party roster, why don't you just like let them all fight with you, I guess, at that point? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that'd be overkill, but it's like, I do feel like it's weird when you have 5, when you have under 6 and you have a party of 3, right? Like, if I were them, I almost would have just done 4 people and just made it 4 party members, right? Or they could have done a callback to the original Secret of Mana and had a 3-person party, right? That was the original Secret of Mana, just 3 people. I actually don't see a reason why not to do that, right? Like the characters, getting a new character is not that exciting, in my opinion, because I've gotten 2 of the characters and it's whatever. Like I think one of the flaws of the game too is because the voice acting is so bad, it's really hard to care about the story. Like the voice acting is some of the worst voice acting I've heard in a game in a long time. And because I don't play a lot of B tier like JRPGs, I just don't have the time for them. So it's like funny to play a game with this bad of voice acting, and like the story, even if it was good, it's under that, so I can't even focus on it because it's awful. But yeah, man, I just like, I don't get what the draw is if you're not going to make the combat super exciting, Yeah,
and that, I mean, like you said, it's not a terrible game. It's fun, but there's a lot that could have been done to make it better. Yeah, man. I'm hoping I finish it. I'm not expecting to, if I'm being just honest. I think I will probably, if I haven't given up yet, I think I will probably be giving up pretty soon. BT Dubs, we're in the Black Friday season when we record this, and I just sent you a Black Friday link because you were talking about this little bad boy. Do you see it? Oh, let me see. I'm clicking on it right now. I see it is. Okay, what is side Slick Deals?
Click on Slick Deals. Click on the link. Just click on it. It's only a malware virus that will destroy everything and hack into your bank account.
What are these pictures you just sent me? Oh, I see. Space Marine, $50, man. Amazon.
Told you it would be on sale soon.
Just had to play the waiting game.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we talked about that on the phone today. You're like, oh, it's not on sale. So just started going on sale. What I've been looking for, like, I'm surprised Luigi's Mansion 3 is not on sale. Like, I've kind of been, I might have to get Yoshi's Crafted World finally. It's $30. I think it's $30 though every time this time of year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Digital.
It's crazy that has stayed at the price point that it's been at for so long, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nintendo games never drop, right? So, like, the only time you can buy their games on sale is Black Friday. They don't do permanent price reductions, which is like kind of crazy considering every single other publisher on earth does. But, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, that's just their Nintendo. They get to set the rules.
And people still pay for all of it.
Well, I mean, like, their games are different, man. They do really, really high quality games. So, have you ever used Woot?
No, what is that?
It's like an Amazon-owned company. I was just curious. I think I don't understand what it is, but they often have games on sale. But I don't know what it is enough to know if I should actually buy anything off Woot. Have you been playing anything else though? Sorry, not trying to take over your hosting thing, but I feel like we'll get stuck in Black Friday abyss.
No, sorry, you're good. No, I have. I've played Visions of Mana. And, I've done a little mobile gaming, playing some Galaga Wars.
Nice.
That's kind of all I've gotten to this week.
Okay, I'm still sticking with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Visions of Mana, Metaphor ReFantazio, and then because I'm an achievement butt, I've been doing those achievies in Spyro. Because it's on Game Pass.
Oh, dang, man.
That's a fun game, man. I always forget. I only like one, though. I'll say every time I turn on 2 or 3, I don't like them. I've tried playing them now multiple times. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like they're not good games.
No, and for me, too, like, it's like 2 and 3, the collecting of the gems, like, doesn't mean anything. You know, the collecting of the eggs and the dragons, like, they don't mean anything. You know, in Spyro 1, that was it though, right? You hit the pause button, you can see like how many gems you've collected from each thing. In 2 and 3, like there's no significance to doing
there's
those
no like
things.
certain amount in the levels or whatever to get like 100% or
yeah, well there is, but you don't get any I don't know, it just is not, there's no what am I trying to say? There's no end game that gets you anything for collecting everything.
Yeah, I mean, Spyro 1 is also kind of bad at that too, right? Like there's no, like the one thing I'm kind of surprised about going back to Spyro, and I don't think Spyro predates Super Mario 64. I think it's after. Like I'm curious what, 98, right? So it's 2 years after Mario 64, and I want to say the same year as Banjo-Kazooie. Why on earth didn't they look at other groups and be like, hey, we're going to make it so you have to, I guess they minorly do this with collecting the dragons, right? Like you have to collect them to go to the next world. But it's also not very exciting, right? Because like Mario 64 gated you per level, right? Mm-hmm. Banjo-Kazooie did something similar. It's way more exciting because that way, if you were like me as a kid and even me as an adult, where it's like, hey, I want to get every single one in this level. And then when I go on, I'm like, oh, I can unlock 2 or 3 levels. You know what I mean? Like you're not like doing the bare minimum or whatever. So I don't understand why the creators of Spyro in the late 90s decided like, hey, we're just going to give you these collectibles, but they're not actually going to do much. They're not going to do much, but you know, it is what it is. And by the way, Rough Artist, I just saw your comment. Buy Woot t-shirts. Okay, I will look and see what else they have there. Then sounds like it's legit. But yeah, man. Spyro was cool, dude. I'm hoping that I end up finishing it. I feel like I played it on Switch during COVID, and I think I finished 1, but I don't think I ever finished 2 or 3. And now on Xbox, it actually looks good. So yeah, it was rough on Switch.
I played it on, so I have it on Switch. I don't think I've ever played it on Switch. I have it on Xbox, and I did finish 1, 2, and 3. I want to get it on PlayStation now and do the trophies for that, but why is it, do you think, that we have not seen a new Spyro game in so long?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it was because Toys for Bob, I think, got pushed onto Call of Duty, right? So they were one of the teams that ended up getting support, that got put in supporting roles with, I want to say, what is it? Not Treyarch. What was the other company that did the Tony Hawk remake? Was it Toys for Bob?
No. It's not Infinity Ward, was it?
No, it's, no, Vicarious Visions? Vicarious Visions. Yeah,
Okay.
so they got pushed on to Blizzard support. I think Toys for Bob got pushed on to Call of Duty support, and then they bought themselves out, right? Wasn't that their history?
They're their own company now. Yeah.
And there is a rumor they're working on a game with Microsoft. Not rumor, I think there was an announcement. They're working on a game with Microsoft, which is weird, right? Because they were owned by Microsoft for a short period of time, then bought themselves out. So that whole thing's really weird. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I think they're, I don't know. I'm pretty excited if they do release either another Spyro or, preferably a Banjo-Kazooie. I'm a bigger Banjo fan than I'm a Spyro fan.
Oh,
so
man, I'd rather see Spyro.
I'd much rather have a new Banjo if it was done in the style of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. I was not a Banjo whatever 3E, Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts fan, but some people love it.
All right, shall we dance into some news here?
I will dance wherever you want me to dance. I'll put my feet on the ground.
Just don't step on those
Let
toes.
my hair down, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so couple room. I mean, I don't know if it's more news or rumors. Sony talking about getting back into the handheld market with a new handheld console. This comes in the wake of Microsoft saying that they were also working on a handheld console. The Sony one, from what they're saying, is meant to stream PS5 games, but also, don't they already have something that does that?
Yeah, I mean, they have the PlayStation Portal. I'm gonna reach over and grab some real quick. If you're video watching, I have two things. If there were three of us, it would have made a little bit more sense. I got one of these bad boys, for those of you who can see. Ooh. And then I got one of these bad boys. Do you see this bad boy?
Oh, I do. I see that bad boy.
But yeah, so the PlayStation Portal, right? It already exists. They just added functionality to it where if you have PlayStation Extreme or whatever the top level's called, I'll never learn because I think it's the dumbest thing ever. It's like Extra. I think PlayStation Extra. Or PlayStation Plus Extra, whatever it's called, or Premium. I can never remember which one's the max. But you can stream games now to your Portal, which is cool, like whatever they have streaming on there. I don't know if that makes it good enough. I think a lot of us want native gameplay. So, there's like this talk right now on the internet where it's like, how crazy would it be if this next generation, whatever falls the Series X, falls the PS5, is all docked systems, right? Like all become Switches. And honestly, I'm all for that, man. I mean, honestly, charge an extra $100. We don't need games to get graphically any better. Like I know people have said that historically, time and time and time again. We are getting to the point of no return or diminishing returns, where it's like it's the PS5 Pro showed people this is getting pointless. Games can only look so much better. It's going to be marginal. Most of us would rather have the ability to just take that game on a plane with us or take it somewhere with us than have it get slightly better. And I think we're at that point where I think the PS6, the next Xbox, if done well, could just become like dockable systems. They could all become essentially like Switches.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that would actually keep people playing on their consoles, though, because if you think about it, the Nintendo Switch sells so well, right? Because people can pick it up, take it on the go. Same thing with these handheld computers that are coming out. The Steam Deck, the Asus, was it the
Asus
ROG?
ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go. I mean, they've got
Mhm.
tons of them. They're pretty popular. I think the Steam Deck sold like 3.5 million units, which, is that a lot? No. But I mean, it's still a pretty niche thing. It's a portable computer, right? Like, it's not like a giant, it's not a laptop. It's like a portable gaming PC handheld, if you will. So these are ultra niche devices. I think if you told everybody who had an Xbox, like, hey, especially like the bros, right? Who are like, hey, I want to play Call of Duty, but I live with my parents. Oh, now I can just pick up my PlayStation when my family is watching stuff, and I don't need a TV to put it on, right? I can just play it. And then if I have a TV, I set it down and I play it. And I think we're getting to the point where, I play a lot of games on the deck. We've talked about it many, many a time here. You've never made fun of it because you love it. That's why you would never, ever make fun of my deck. And I never talk about it too much.
What is that?
Yeah, what is a deck, right? But anyways, like, it's crazy how close the games are to being like this generation level content, right? Like I played quite a bit of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on my Steam Deck. And yeah, is that technically an end of Xbox One generation game? Yeah, did it run great on Steam Deck? No, but it ran about as good as it did on my Xbox One. I had a One X, so it ran a little bit less. It ran more poorly than like the One X did. But it's that idea where I think it's just funny that like people would, if anybody pushes back against this, I'd like to know who would push back, because for me, the PlayStation. Oh, we got a joiner.
You said push back, and then Gerald shows up. Right.
I will push back against you. Let the handheld wars begin, my friend.
Oh, you are a PlayStation Portable fan if I've ever heard of one. That's why you joined.
Oh, yes. Me and my Vita. Will be... well, actually, I gave away my Vita already.
I sold mine.
I loved my Vita.
I loved my Vita as well.
I loved my
never
Vita.
Owned a Vita.
That was good.
Don't worry, man. You weren't missing much. They didn't provide much software for it. That's why I had to give it away.
I loved it, though, man. I played so many indies and so many old RPGs on it because it could play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games.
It had the thing on the back, right, where you can like move your fingers along the back. Like
touchpad on the back.
That's
right. Or on the screen itself.
Yeah, that's right. So the last Sony handheld I had was the PSP Go. And remember that it was like a slide, the screen went whoosh and slid up. And then
that was like the worst version of the PlayStation Portable. How did you get that one?
So terrible. So I actually bought it because like I had read a rumor on the internet that they're gonna be it's gonna become a phone. Like they're gonna give it phone capability. So I went out and bought it, and I'm like,
you wanted that as a phone?
I don't know, man. I was in middle school
I like the
high
N-Gage.
School.
I'm sorry, I had an N-Gage.
You love it.
I enjoyed the N-Gage. It had the games aside, as a phone from Nokia, it really worked. That speaker phone could pick up like me on the other side of the city and the zip code. That's how good that speaker phone picked up.
That's good.
I miss it, but it was so fragile. Once you dropped it a couple times, it started to disintegrate in your hands. I was like, man, this sucks.
Once you step on it a few times too, it starts to break. I was like stepping on it over and over again.
Well, that's why I had the rubber guard, the plastic guard around the middle. But yeah, it didn't help the underneath. But the PlayStation phone, I was always intrigued by, but I never stepped into.
Not missing out, man.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, we were talking.
The handheld wars are beginning again, guys, because PlayStation. I'm sure you said the news already. The PlayStation. According to reports, IGN and Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
We're just talking about like what the likelihood is of like two docked systems, right? Like what if the Xbox and PlayStation are both essentially Switch competitors, because we're talking about the diminishing returns in terms of graphical fidelity that we're seeing with each of these
console
next
sales
generation.
just in general. Yeah. So I mean, would having a dockable system cause a return to console sales?
Well, the first thing I'd love is, and they won't do it, of course, but is that the Switch 2, the Xbox handheld, and the PlayStation handheld all came out at the same time.
That would be awesome.
So we could all gauge which one is best.
Yeah.
That would
never
be great,
gonna happen.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
The second thing I would like is that they all come out, like you said, with docking stations. So like in my front room, or like right here, right in front of my big screen behind me. Or the big screen in the front room. It'd just be like all docking stations.
Yeah. No,
like right there.
I would love it. Like,
forget about the sound bar. Yeah. Frank. It's docking stations.
I would rather have, like, I almost bought, when I had two TVs, we ended up getting rid of the other one because we never used it. But when I had two TVs, I almost bought a second Nintendo Switch dock just because of like, it's that easy. Like the other consoles, you have to like grab all your stuff and move it from here to here. But if you have just like this small little device that you connect to a TV, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to move it to my next area, just drop it down. You just don't lose like a moment. And we were talking about like, how much would the bros be excited to play like Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and then their parents need the TV because a lot of them are going to be young dudes, and then they now pick it up and they can keep playing Black Ops 6. And then how stoked would everybody else be who's playing against those people because they're now playing handheld and they're going to be easy to kill. So,
and then you can switch from a handheld to this.
Oh, yeah.
They go right back to a handheld.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping that's the future. I do think the one buzzkill piece of news for this PlayStation 1 and the Xbox One, and we talked about it last time, is the idea that they're talking about far future. Like, we need this kind of like now almost to be excited. Like, what does it look like in 3 years? Are people still going to be buying consoles? I mean, PC's been dominating, I feel like, the market recently outside of PlayStation's still doing well. But
well, if I was Xbox, I would just wait until the next Xbox.
I would make it one thing, but I would also...
that would be the thing. I would forget about if you had a stationary Xbox for your next console. I would throw that away, make it the handheld with a docking station, whatever. And that's your next Xbox. For PlayStation, though, if they bring it out, Brain, they should bring it out now, because if they bring it out in 2-3 years, if it's not PlayStation 6 compatible, it's how valuable will it be?
Well, that's the hard thing, too, because Sony's like weirdly more involved with generations than Microsoft, just slightly, but they are. Like Microsoft will still drop games on Xbox One, right? Let alone Series S and all the other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I think the thing is they need to understand most people don't care about the graphical fidelity as much as they think, right? Like, and they're probably seeing that with the Sony's PS5 Pro, right? I want to say the rumor is I think it sold it sold really low. I can't remember what the rumor is, but it was like, I think sub 3 million sales. I just know you can find one wherever you want to find one. So I guess Japan, it sold 78,000 units, and people say that's very good for Japan.
I wonder what their projections were.
I have no clue, and nobody's talking about it because they said the thing about this one that's different is like a lot of consoles are sold at a loss, so they can make money on the software and stuff, and they know more people will buy it if it's at certain price points. This one was not sold at a loss. So because of that, and like Nintendo doesn't sell a loss. So because of that, it's like maybe they just don't care because they know if they even sell like 1 million units, they'll have got back their R&D, right? So I have no clue. I just know that, if I wanted to go find a PS5 Pro today, I could probably find one probably before like tonight. Yeah, I could buy one off Amazon today. It would be there tomorrow. So they're not selling well. But yeah, I think they need to focus on a future where, hey, we all don't care about having... There's so many people without 4K TVs. Like, you both have 4K TVs, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Most people don't. That's something like kind of how most people didn't have broadband internet when they tried to switch from internet. Like, a lot of people don't have 4K TVs still. The number is staggering.
Even if they have 4K TVs, though, Brank, there's still so many stations, so many networks that do not want to show their things in 4K unless you pay extra for it. Like YouTube, for instance, YouTube TV. Oh, yeah, they'll show you everything in 4K. They just want to make you pay extra.
Well,
like
this
Netflix.
Is like what...
I guess never still have seen Netflix content 4K because I won't pay the extra.
Disney
pay that
Plus
extra,
was great when I first, got my TV put on 4K, watched the Hawkeye series. That was one of the first things I saw in 4K. Beautiful, absolutely great. And then now, like, it's
Does Disney, they still do 4K for all members, right? Just kind of like
I believe so.
HBO still does that too, which is cool. But I know a lot of people want to lock it behind a paywall for
But you can't go to like ABC or CBS or NBC broadcast television, like for the football games. If you want to catch it on the local station, it's available on 4K. You just have to pay extra.
So ridiculous. Yeah.
This kind of goes. This kind of goes back to like Gerald always goes to CES every year and sees like all the new TVs, but they make these TVs that nobody has, anything to.
The 8K TVs.
8K TVs, but people are still trying to catch up with like technology from 2 generations ago. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. There's not a lot of people who don't have 4K out there.
The 8K TVs are so pointless. Every time I hear about like a TV
they look
like
good,
that,
though, my friend. Those fish and those mountains really look good when I walk by it.
I love the content that's not going to exist for it. Like, it's going to be YouTubers. And the truth is, like, weirdly, like I say that jokingly right now, but since I've been starting to watch, I used to never watch YouTube. I feel like now that's my primary form of entertainment, which is so weird saying this even like 3 months later. I never watched YouTube.
Gamescast, right?
What? I just watched Super BS Gamescast. That's my only form of entertainment and content. Even though we're not on YouTube, that's the only thing I watch on YouTube. I make a video of it myself, and then I upload, and then I rewatch it. But no, like, it is funny to think of a future where, like, we're joking that there's no content for 8K because there's no big budget content for 8K. But I bet if you looked on YouTube, you could find plenty of 8K videos, and I think there's only going to be more and more as that becomes easier for people and cheap, right? Like, phones can do 4K now. So I think the second phones could do 8K, we're going to see every single YouTuber have 8K content. Will people still
All
use
I'm going
it?
to say is I'm not going to do anything political, but if
Yeah.
I was in charge of the FCC, okay,
Yeah.
if I got charged to name the FCC, two things I'd do. I would get rid of blackouts for sports blackouts.
What is that?
They're
Oh
useless
my
What is a
gosh! Yeah,
sports
where you
blackout? I actually
can't
don't know.
watch certain content in certain areas. So
in certain
That's
areas. It's
ridiculous.
just useless.
yeah, so like I'm
Yeah.
in Texas. I cannot watch on streaming services. I cannot watch Dallas Stars games.
Why?
Yeah, it's so outdated at this point in time because you can find other ways
Yeah,
around
you just watch
it
on
now,
the
and it's just
internet.
pointless.
But that's what they want you.
Because it was designed originally to make you or force you to go live to the games, and it really does nothing to do that as far as impeding it anymore. So I would get rid of that. The second thing is I'd standardize 4K. Say everything has to be in 4K by such and such date. All the networks, all programming has to be in a minimum 4K.
They did that. They did that for HD, not for 4K, but for HD. If you remember that years
Yeah, for
ago.
HD, but
It took them a long time.
But yeah, it was like what 720,
Yeah.
or it wasn't 1080. I think it was 720.
I
that they
I
made
can't
it.
remember at this point, but I just find it funny because I remember that as a kid. Like
Or
my
was it
parents,
480.
Yeah, I
my
don't
parents
remember.
had to get because they used to have like I forgot what it was,
that
but a way to
the
like connect to the
analog
old
digital.
TV.
Are you talking about like the
converter.
Yeah. Yep. That was a big deal.
Yeah, but I think at least it's probably was it 480 or something? I don't think it's 1080 standard. But anyways, I digress. I'd make it 4K standard across the board. Let's. Brank, you said that not everybody has a 4K TV, but that is changing. There's we've been going through what Josh and I we do our Black Friday deal shows now for 8 years now, and I mean we've been talking about 4K deals, so there are millions of 4K TVs out there now. There should be no excuse why we can't just make that a standard at this point.
Yeah, I still think though, like for the next generation of consoles, just to tie it back there, I don't think that they should focus on anything above 4K. Like I think this generation, when they said we'd be playing games in 8K, I don't even think there's a game. I don't even know if there's a game that actually has 8K content. There probably is one.
I would more worry about stable frame rate. That's all I care about. Because they can't seem to do one or the other.
Yeah. Well, don't they always brag about that? Like, remember when the PS5 first came out and the Xbox Series X there said something about like the picture and the frame rate, and it took them a while to even like have something that was capable of doing that.
I mean, I don't remember that exact quote, but I do
maybe
think
it's the
like
PS4. I don't remember. It's one of the two.
How's that PlayStation 5 Pro looking now, guys? Yeah.
It's just for me, it's like worry about making stuff more accessible right now in terms of like making it portable. Do this thing, right? Like, don't worry about it because so many people right now are playing on Switch, are playing on their phones, are playing on Steam Decks, are playing on whatever, right? And if they really, really want that ultra high-end thing, they have PC gaming. PC gaming is way better than a current console. So
unless your Windows 11 update for a Ubisoft game, but
did that? I didn't follow that. Did that break a bunch of games?
Yeah, just type in Windows 11 update Ubisoft. Yeah, it kind of like all the latest Ubisoft games.
Wow, that's weird. I feel like Ubisoft will fix it though. That's like I was talking with the doctor about this recently. Is like
as if they had enough problems.
Yeah, I mean, like it's weird because like everybody's kind of like dunking on him recently, and I don't blame him because I kind of dunk on him too for like how bad Outlaws is seemingly supposed to be. But I will say the one thing they do better than a lot of other big publishers is they keep updating their games. Like Assassin's Creed Syndicate just got a 4K 60 patch like last week or something. That game is like
they want you to go back and play the back catalog.
But they get nothing from that, man. Like I got that game for free on Games with Gold like 8 years ago or something, right? Like I'm just saying like it's cool that they do that. Do I think it's a good business move? No, not at all. Because it doesn't mean I'm gonna buy their games just because they update them if the games aren't good. But it is funny that they'll go back and they'll update like crazy old games and do stuff like no other publisher develop. Like Nintendo doesn't do that. Nintendo doesn't patch any of their games so they have issues after a certain point. Like the game's out, we're not touching it again, it's done. You know, they'll maybe do like think about Pokemon, what was it? Violet and what was the other one? Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Think about how bad those games still run. 2+ years after it came out, they didn't do anything. So I will say, Ubisoft, maybe they need to make better games still. Like Outlaws is not supposed to be good, But boy, they still
even
work.
when you try to make a good game, you still have Microsoft undercutting them. Like even I just put the link in the chat, guys. There's a Windows 11 24H2 update breaks Ubisoft games. Fix still pending.
That is so crazy.
Who is responsible for patching that though? At that point, is it Ubisoft or is it Microsoft that has to fix that?
I think it's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Because we know Windows is not going to. That's
it's just what you
OS.
get is what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you get for trying to do a number on us overseas on that Activision deal. So yeah, there you go. So.
All right, so while we're on handhelds real quick, there's a rumor floating around that the Switch 2 is going to be launched with remakes of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. What do you guys, this is floating around the internet, right? What do you guys think of that? Do you think there's any truth to that, or do people want that? Because I thought that Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu were basically remakes of Red and Blue.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Yes, we just got a remake of Pokemon Red and Blue. What, 4 years ago?
4 years ago, yeah. Well, and it feels like they're not going to be happy unless it has the color on it, you know?
I mean, for me, it's like those are great games. They were fun when they came out. Like, what did they want? Do they want us just to play the original again? Because I don't want to play Pokemon Red and Blue, like just the original. Like, do they want it just to be like the old school graphics or new graphics? Like, because the thing is, when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out and Rebirth this year, there are a lot of people upset for a lot of reasons. The new story that they decided to tell, like tons of things, right? But some people are also upset that it's not a turn-based game anymore, right? So it's like, if they remake Pokemon Red and Blue, like, how much are they going to change? Because they're going to make so many people angry. And if it's like, are you just going to remake Pokemon Red and Blue the exact same with better graphics? Well, I'm not going to play it then, because that's a really old style of game that's really slow. So
maybe in the style of Arceus? I don't know.
If they do it like Arceus or even Violet and Scarlet, which I think Arceus is a little bit better than them, but even that, like, I'd buy it. But I just think it's like a waste of time at that point, right? Like, the only thing I like about Pokemon Red and Blue is that there's only 150 Pokemon. So I actually can know who they are, right?
right.
I don't like now there's 900 because I don't know who any of these guys are. I don't know who they evolve into. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what moonstones you need to feed them to make them, or whatever you have to do. Like, I don't know all of it anymore. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird how people want their specific things done. Like, even if you remake something and call it a different title, like, they want it to be called the original title. There's a weird, I don't know, either nostalgia or obsession. I'm not sure, but anyways, I mean.
Oh wait, hold a second. I think Sony PlayStation's just calling Nintendo. They're giving them advice on how to go ahead and put out games and put out remakes that nobody ever asked for or needed. I think that's correct.
Have you heard of Pal World?
By the way, yes. Horizon Zero Dawn remake? Yes, yeah. Last of Us again remade? Yeah, again?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Another remake of a remake of a remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Forbidden West remake where they make the game good. I'm hoping that's coming soon, but I don't know if I'm ever
Until Dawn, anyone? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that Until Dawn remake was supposed to be so bad. I actually feel bad for the people, whoever made it. They did a very bad job. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think Nintendo would do well not to like release their next Switch with just a bunch of remakes, but
yeah. That's kind of what they do, though, right? Like, they remake, remaster.
Breath of the Wild, like, Nintendo is like one of the least offenders.
Metro Prime 4?
I would say Nintendo is one of the least offenders. Recently, they've been a bigger offender in terms of they've been bringing all their Wii U content over the Switch.
Yeah.
But pre the Wii U Switch era, they were like pretty good about not remaking, remastering. Now, were they going to sell you the same game 50 times without doing any work? Yeah, they do that. Yeah, I'm not going to like defend them there. But I don't think I've seen anything as egregious as the Sony stuff, only because like I could play those games currently till they took them off the store for $10 or free. And then they took them off store and then resold it to you for $40 with slight increment little upgrades. So that's the only thing. Like, Nintendo, at least it's like a new one. So,
all right, well, let's look at the Switch 2 for just a second here. They just put out a new Zelda. So, I mean, what could possibly be released at launch that would make people, crazy over the console? a Mario, maybe a mainline Mario game.
I think Mario Odyssey 2 would be phenomenal. I don't know if they're gonna make a Mario Odyssey 2. I'd be jumping for joy. Like, that game is so much fun. I don't think they should release Breath of the Wild remaster, which is one of the rumors. The rumor is they've got a 4K Breath of the Wild that they're going to release. Like, I think if Nintendo was a better company to their people, their patrons, they would release that as a free update for Breath of the Wild. But my guess is we were going to get a lot of remasters for games in 4K on Switch 2, and they're going to pull the Sony card, because that's, I think a lot of that is probably like a Japanese like line of business thought, right? Like, it was, I mean, it's a line of business thought all around the world, but I feel like in the West, you just can't do it because too many people are willing to do stuff for free, right? So it's like harder to be like, hey, you have to pay us again. It's like, we don't pay for anything here. So why are we going to pay you a second time for the same thing, you know? Whereas like Japan, they still buy all their books, they buy all their DVDs, they buy all their CDs, right? Like, they haven't left the 90s and the 2000s. I think Mario Odyssey 2 would be killer. I think a new Mario Kart, not Mario Kart 8, whatever a new Mario Kart looks like, that would be a game changer. Honestly, though, I'm ready to be surprised, because like, I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to do it. If they're only launching with Metroid Prime 4, I think they're going to be really disappointed with how few people are going to actually get on board.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts were, because I can't off the top of my head, besides a new Mario game, think of, what could they possibly launch that would really be, amazing.
I don't know. Gerald, you got any ideas? I know you're the biggest Nintendo fanboy here. You love your Nintendo. You got your Nintendo tattoo.
I got a Switch. I like Nintendo 64. I've had various Nintendo.
What's the last game you played on your Switch, though? I got to ask, because a lot of people haven't touched their Switches for like years.
That is a good question. It's been 3 years tops, because I think I reviewed a couple indie games.
What's the last big first-party Nintendo game you played?
Well, my girls played the Ubisoft dance game.
That's not Nintendo, and that's not you.
I guess Odyssey.
Really?
Odyssey.
So the year it came out, 2017. Wow,
yes.
So you were stoked on it, and then you just never touched it again.
Pokemon Sword for me. That was the last one I played.
My girls have played the Pokemons on it. It's just never been that appealing of a system for me. I've just been more into PlayStations, Xbox, PC. I guess I'm just more of a high-end gamer. That I don't mean to be snooty or snobby.
You are being a snooty, snobby jerk right now.
But what can I say? It just appeals to me more. I've never just found anything on the Switch that is just like, I gotta stay with it. I gotta play it. And I just gotta stay with it. Just nothing. I have my Switch that sits there. It gathers dust half the time. So yeah, it's.
All right.
I turn on my Xbox Series X. That's what I turn on right now.
That's all that matters. That's what Microsoft wants. Meanwhile, IGN's writing best 100 PlayStation game pieces on their website. As is
PlayStation
expected.
5 Pro, everyone. There you go.
Oh yeah. All right. Hey, let's jump into Black Friday for a second, because I do want to ask you guys a question regarding Black Friday and physical media. But we did not talk last week about Walmart, what they got. They actually have the best deals I think I've seen of all the video game sales going on. So we look at this. We have Pikmin on the Switch. So their Switch games are discounted by $30 instead, or down to $30 instead of the usual $40 you see it as.
Is that link I gave you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have Pikmin 4 for $30, Mario Kart 8. That one's $40, but Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is $30 at Walmart.
Are these digital or physical, or
these are physical games?
No physical, no digital as well.
I don't know. Right now, I'm just seeing the physical stuff.
Okay, because I feel like I saw these and I thought they were digital as well. Like, you could buy physical and digital, but whatever. It's too hard to find.
Maybe.
These were not part of the Black Friday. These were a pre-Black Friday sale, so that's why we missed it on the Cosmos when we were covering up for Black Friday.
Yeah.
So yes, these are available now. These are, you don't have to wait for Black Friday. These are available now. If you wanna take a look on the screen.
Kirby, $30. Yeah, a lot of games for $30. God of War Ragnarok,
$37.97. You might as well get 10 copies of that. I mean, it's definitely worth the
$30
savings.
Pretty good. So I'm sorry, no, I'm looking at the Black Friday deal page. Sorry, that's not the one you sent me. They have their Black Friday deals. You can see them right now.
Well, okay.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of Mario Odyssey, $30.
I mean, Tears of the Kingdom for 40 is like a pretty good steal. Like that one, I think is one of the better. I actually saw it. It's 30 somewhere, but I can't remember where it's gonna be 30.
It's right here.
It is at
Walmart. Look at, hold on.
At Walmart, it's 39. It'll be 39 on the 25th. I'm sorry.
No.
It says
hey,
39 on the
check
25th.
this out.
It looks like it says $30 on the 25th.
Oh, $30. Yeah, $30. Yeah, you're right. It is $30 on November 25th.
That's a good deal.
It'll be $30.
I just posted the link
Tears
there.
Of the Kingdom.
If you guys haven't played it, pick it up. Pick it up.
Yeah. All right, but this also leads me to my question of the night, guys.
Well, that was all there was left to say, and then the podcast drifted. All right, what were you about to say? You finally come back to us.
All right. Well, okay. So we're sitting here looking at Walmart. Pretty great Black Friday deals for video games. Actually, probably best pricing. Like I've said, best pricing I think I've seen so far. But we're at this weird point where physical media is slowly going away. Now, we've talked about this before. Do you think that
let me just say this. So let me get this straight. Tears of the Kingdom will be cheaper by a long shot over Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yes, well, same thing with Mario Kart though. Like Tears of the Kingdom will be cheaper than Mario Kart.
I think it's because like Tears of the Kingdom has like less of it has way higher decay, right? Like people are still buying Mario Kart and Smash all the time for the competitive aspects, but like the single player games just don't hold their value as well, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Want me to go to GameStop? I got that right up there for you.
Okay, all right.
You can buy Pokemon cards just in case. You need them.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything at GameStop that's particularly. So yeah, look, see
where'd you need me to go?
Their Tears of the Kingdom is $50.
Okay.
So I mean, I think I think if you're looking at game deals, Walmart's probably the best place to go. Yeah, I don't understand why Target doesn't do like their 2-for-1 deal that they normally do on Black Friday. Like that would be.
Well, the one thing I wanted to point out was if you looked at the ads, they were just singular.
Yeah.
They were not groups. Remember in past, you would see a bulk stack of titles for X amount of price. You don't see that anymore from any of these vendors, and that is just really disappointing.
So
really, really disappointing.
So this goes into my question, though. Do you think that this is going to be the last Black Friday for physical video games? Because, we've seen they used to put out the ads and they'd have CDs, like big groupings, right? Big pages of CDs of music. Movies especially, you'd see like, oh, this movie's $5, this movie's $10, this movie's going to be $15. And video games, too. You'd have like the 10, 25, 30, 40, whatever categories. And now all you see are video games. And most of these stores are phasing these physical games out. So do you think that this is going to be the last Black Friday for physical video games?
I don't think it's gonna be the last Black Friday for physical. I think physical games are gonna continue at least till the next generation, if not way further on, because I still think the internet connections in the middle of America are just too bad.
Yeah.
I think there'll be decreased emphasis on it.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that already, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while, for a couple of weeks now, it was hard to find retailers that were promoting video games on sale. And right there, it just shows you that it took a little bit for Walmart to go ahead and put that out there, but they're only putting out by a singular title as opposed to a group of titles like they did before. And yeah, I just think at this point in time, it's getting harder and harder. In fact, the deal games, if you went on GameStop, we talked about it on the Cosmos, where as far as the different structure, the pricing, the games that were at the different various price points were not all that appealing, especially the ones $20 and under. A lot of those were just, pardon the pun, jank.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of them were the despised one.
Yes.
No, but like you go to Best Buy, especially like our Best Buy out here has the 3 half sections of video games. Target has gone down to 3 aisles of video games. Like there's not as many as there once were. So when you go to these stores on Black Friday, you can't. I'm curious, like if they're going to continue to sell physical video games in store, or if we're going to have to do our shopping online to get some of these deals.
Interesting. I think it will be, again, just a decreased emphasis for me. But I like Brank. I still say there'll be some type of presence.
Yeah.
In future.
I think
Black
there's
Fridays
still too many people buying physical media, right? Like it's not the majority anymore, but I mean you're still seeing games. Like I was at a Target recently and the games were sold out there. Like,
but the one thing you didn't see, Brank, there was only one advertisement for a DVD, and that was for an entire collection of the Ghostbusters based off of Frozen Empire. There was no stack of DVDs for sale at a certain price. No more $5 DVDs, no more $10 Blu-rays. That's not there. So in one way,
and I need that Frozen Empire, and they knew that that was the only one that was I need. So they're like, hey, we're only going to sell this one copy on sale, Frozen Empire, because you can't stream it anywhere. Don't look for it online. You can't stream it anywhere, so you need to pay us.
That special edition with all the other Ghostbusters attached to it.
Has anyone watched the Ghostbusters movie since 2? I haven't seen any of the other ones.
I did play it on like at 3 or 4 in the morning when I was building a chair earlier this year when it went on Netflix. In the background, it was that stereotypical background movie that was playing. So yes, because the algorithm kept going. So it was just cycling through movies while I was building furniture.
That's good. It got you, man. Algorithm got you, and now they get all the money from you.
They should thank IKEA for that, not me.
Yeah, for me, like, what was it? Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then Frozen Empire, and then what was the female one called? I guess it was just called Ghostbusters.
Just the Ghostbusters. Yeah, they don't even count that in the Ghostbuster continuity.
It's in the reboot. I love it. It's funny too because like Paul Feig directed it, and he has actually some funny movies under his belt.
It's not as bad as they will tell you.
Okay.
I actually saw it at Grumman's Chinese Theater with my girls because they wanted to see it. At that time, they were real young. They wanted to see it. Ghostbusters 2 is the bad one.
Oh, really?
Of any of them. This latest one is not good either.
Okay.
I like the one before that, though. That one was
Afterlife
pretty good.
The one before that was all right.
Yeah.
That gives you the nostalgic feels on that first one. But this second one, the Frozen one, it's not really good either. But Ghostbusters 2, that's just an angry movie. Everyone in that movie is just angry because it's based off of hate. The whole movie is based off the angrier New York gets, the more the goop seeps up and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was just a bad movie.
And they didn't get Danny DeVito. The fact that they would do an angry movie without Danny DeVito makes me upset, okay? They need angry Danny DeVito.
He's a New Jersey guy, not a New York guy.
They need DeVito, man. If they don't need a Ghostbusters without DeVito.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. Before you head out, you guys, any deals you're looking to pick up this week on games? Anything specific you're looking for?
If I see Luigi's Mansion 3 low enough, I might pick it up. But otherwise, I may pick up Silent Hill 2. I don't buy games physically, so it's $55 on the PlayStation Store. I'm like torn because I could buy a $100 PSN credit for $90 at Costco, then purchase it with that. But I'm also waiting to see if they do like every once in a while do like an $80 credit, which it's like $100 of PSN credit for $80. That's normally when I go out and at least buy 100 for each of the consoles that I have. But we'll see. I'm kind of like there's nothing that I'm really excited about, right? Like Silent Hill 2 is probably the closest, and even
I was hoping Dragon Age would go more than 10% on sale, but God forbid that happens.
I think the only way I get to Dragon Age, man, at this point is either $20 or Game Pass, and realistically, the longer it takes to get to $20, it's looking Game Pass. Like I didn't even play Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and I was like, oh, once that gets $20, I'll buy it. I've seen it $20 so many times. I'm never buying Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora at this point.
You know what's crazy? Like BioWare, all of BioWare's games though, like once they hit that point where they drop in price, they just keep plummeting. So like you buy a copy of Mass Effect now for like $4.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was I saw it on sale the other day for like $4 or $5.
Yeah, the trilogy, the remastered trilogy on sale for $4. Yeah. That's what's crazy.
That's an incredible buy.
Games. You're paying $1.50 each, roughly, maybe even less than that.
Josh and I bought it first day.
Yeah, well, I did like an idiot too,
man. So with Dragon Age, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to drop in price.
Yeah, I'm so upset I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I knew I wasn't going to play it. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I bought into the hype, and I was like, was that last year or 2 years ago?
That's 2 years ago. That came out
3 years ago.
3 years. It came out a week before, or a week after Resident Evil Village came out.
Yeah, I think it was just like that was not a weak year, but there wasn't that much exciting stuff coming out in 2021. I want to say that was the year for Ratchet and Clank as well. It was like right after the new consoles had come out. So I was like, oh, whatever, I'll buy it. There's not a lot of stuff to play anyways. I probably turned on Mass Effect 1 and played 2 hours. That's all I played of that whole
That's where I'm at too. Yep.
It was.
I still love it though, man. Still love it. Can't wait for the TV show. Can't wait for Mass Effect 4.
Okay. Well, we're never going to play it.
What about you, Gerald? Any games you're looking to get?
Gerald, what do you think of 24 gigabytes of RAM? Well, I just called iBuyPower because I am interested in getting. I showed this to you on the Cosmos. This one.
A new laptop.
This one right here. When it goes $12.99 here in a couple days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one I want to get, but I was advised by iBuyPower that DDR5, even though the motherboards have 4 slots, to not get extra RAM for DDR5. I was advised not to do that. I guess there's a whole big thing on the internet. They tell you that
why though?
He said that I guess it overworks modern, I guess motherboards, and I was just like, okay. So I looked more into it. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. So I'm like, okay, all right. I'll just stick with 32 gigs of RAM, all right, because I wanted to go 64, but yes. But what do I think of 24 gigs of RAM? Devotion's asking. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Anything to increase RAM. I'm a big proponent of RAM as far as.
Are you going to play Indiana Jones on your PC then? I didn't know you're a PC boy.
Well, if you go take a look at the latest deals for this on Costco, guess what you can get free?
Indiana Jones or Game Pass?
Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cool.
And also as well, Ubisoft. I think you can still get Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's way better.
Well, free. So yes,
okay.
I think you get for the processor, the right processor, you get Indiana Jones. The right sound card, you get Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Okay,
so there you go. What computer I'm looking at? I'm looking at the one right here. That's 32 gigs i9. It's 14th generation i9, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte SSD, a 4070 Super. It's going to $12.99. So yes, right now currently $16.99, but yes, in 3 days it'll go.
Gerald, you have totally skipped Problem Child's very important question. You guys seen Wicked?
I plan to, but I've not as of yet. I know my girls are going to see it separately, but yes, I plan to.
They don't want to watch it with their dad, huh? They're like,
because that's not very popular.
Gladiator 2.
Oh yeah, I saw Gladiator 2. We talked about that at the beginning of this episode. I won't spoil it.
Yes. No, I heard most of it while I was doing the other shows. It's funny because when you're running 2 shows simultaneously, it almost goes like a blah, 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 but I heard Gladiator 2 like blah, 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 Gladiator 2, blah, 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 Gladiator 2, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay.
And I specifically mention the name because I'm worried people will forget about it. So I say Gladiator 2 at least 10 times because I love Gladiator 2. Now,
I know who the actual hero is, and I just wonder why they didn't get the kid himself, the actual actor, because he's still.
Oh yeah, I wonder does he? Yeah, so he's still in movies.
He doesn't have to.
He still works.
Yeah,
he still works. Yeah.
Is he like a super buff guy? Because I'm looking at him, he looks like
that's
he's.
why he's not. That's
probably
if
why.
you look at him today, you'll understand. Maybe he needed to get on the roids. To go ahead with it,
I mean, we have to have our muscly men. Okay, that's what they need for. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find this boy and see if they're a man now. Spencer Treat. Yeah, no, you don't want this isn't a gladiator. Spencer Treat Clark. What are you talking about? I don't like long movies.
That's just for continuity.
Pressure to go see it. Well,
give him the right supplements, Brank. Yeah. You never know. He could.
I actually wonder if they like offered it to him, be like, "Hey, you want to do the 300 workout?" I mean, he probably could have done it. There's a picture of him.
Hugh Jackman does it for every Wolverine.
There honestly is a picture of him, like, if you search this person online, and he's showing his biceps, okay? And that's him probably not even working out. That's not on a gladiator regimen, okay? So they could have done that. So
anything's possible, man. We'll fix it in post.
Honestly, that would have been pretty cool if they would have had the original guy as this character. It would have been awesome. Stop spoiling
Connie
it.
Nielsen's in there, yes.
I don't know. I'll say is it's way better than it has a right to be. They should have never made it, but I still enjoyed it, and I'm glad I watched it, but it shouldn't have been made.
I probably will agree with you on that sentiment after I watch it. I mean, it's like, oh, they made a Gladiator 2.
You should have never made it.
Great.
I loved it. I still had a blast watching it, but it wasn't a movie that should have been made, right? And considering how bad every other sequel's been, like Arrested Development 2 or Arrested Development Seasons 4 and 5, I should say, like every other thing they've done to slap us in the face these last 10 years with rebringing out, dragging their dead, doing what's that? The uncle, the movie where they have the uncle that they dress up and bring to the party, Bernie.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's.
This is essentially what they do to every movie. Is they've got a Weekend at Bernie's, they've got the movie, he's dead, and they're like dragging down. Like it's crazy.
Well, wait till you get to see Gladiator 3 because Ridley Scott already has ideas for it.
I just like. If they do Gladiator 3, don't connect it to 1 and 2. Like, it's fine having a standalone in the same idea, right? But
Spartacus is what it's going to be.
I actually really like Spartacus TV show from, early 2000s. We don't need to talk about it, but I like the first season of that show. You remember that one?
Yeah. That one's Andy Whitfield. That one's pretty good.
Did that guy, he died, right?
He did die, yes. They replaced him with Liam McIntyre.
I never saw, I think they replaced him in the second season. So I never saw anything past season 1. But I did like season 1 a lot.
Yeah.
Gary needs to switch to Mac. Okay. Hey, Gerald, it sounds like everybody's, he's shaking his head yes,
you have a choice, man. You better get that Apple ad out. And
like my Samsungs, and I like my PC.
Here's a green bubble. Here's a green bubble.
My eyes are burning when I saw that. I've never seen something
I left Macs when I was working in Hollywood. I had enough Macs in the 80s and 90s. I'm good. I'm good for the entire lifetime.
Get him more Macs. Get him more Macs.
I dealt with enough Macs already, so.
Okay, bros. I'm on the sleep train right now. I don't know how you old men are handling, but this young baby boy is...
Cobra Kai, Season 5, Part 2 devotion. That's what you should watch on Netflix. It is cheese at its best.
Green bubbles. I do like that.
Look at that nauseous face.
That is true.
Anyways.
That makes us all sick here.
All right, gents. Any closing thoughts before we tap out for the night?
Bye.
Good deals on Black Friday. Better get them while you can.
And come back here next week and tell us what you bought because we want to know.
And we'll read them on the air. No one's ever done this before. So.
How original. All right.
I
thought you were going to end it there. I love it.
It's like we were all waiting for a good closeout from Jake. And like
sorry, I thought you guys your faces were getting close to your microphone, so I assumed that you were going to say something else. But
I was waiting to make fun of you for not doing the right thing, okay? That's the only reason I keep my face close to this microphone.
We're all waiting for your closeout, your closing statements. And then you go peace, and it's like, oh, okay.
All right, well, you can find us on iTunes and Farmers Only.
Yeah, Farmers Only is where we're mostly at.
We're
as a trio on there. So if you try to date us with just a link to this podcast, Farmers Only is 3 men. It's just like, but it will just send you to this podcast. And we'll send someone our place on your date, and they'll just try to speak the good word.
You'll get free Super BS stickers, though. So, I mean, if you do click yes. If you swipe right,
worth it. You swipe right on Farmers Only. I think it's like a tractor right. I think you do it and a little tractor scrolls across the screen.
Goes across the screen. All right. Until next week, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Where's Jill?
She's really lonely and out walking the cornfield again.
Do you think Dave will ever find his true love?
Not hanging out with us all day.
We used to be lonely.
Until we met on Farmers Only.
FarmersOnly.com is the new online dating site for farmers, ranchers, and good old country folks.
You don't have to be lonely at FarmersOnly.com.
City folks just don't get it.